Financial gurus love the 50/30/20 rule. But if you make under a certain amount, following this math will actually guarantee you stay broke. Here is the modified framework you need instead. If you have ever searched for ways to manage your money, you have undoubtedly stumbled across the golden rule of personal finance, the 50/30/20 budget. Financial advisors have been preaching this exact formula for years. The math is supposedly simple. You take your after-tax take-home pay and slice it into three neat, manageable categories. First, 50% goes strictly to your needs. This covers your absolute survival baselines, rent or mortgage, basic groceries, utilities, and essential transportation. Next, 30% is allocated to your wants. This is your lifestyle money, dining out, subscriptions, hobbies, and vacations. Finally, the remaining 20% goes toward savings and debt. This is the money you use to build an emergency fund, invest in the stock market, or pay down credit card balances. On paper and on a pie chart, it looks like financial perfection. But here is where we need to be completely honest with each other. It sounds great in theory, but it often fails in reality for many people. If you have tried to follow this rule and found yourself completely stressed out by the middle of the month, you are not alone. You aren't bad with money, and you don't lack discipline. The problem is that this rule makes a massive assumption. It assumes your basic cost of living can actually be capped at just half of your paycheck. Let's look at the actual economy we are living in. The primary reasons this traditional rule falls short today are inflation and sky-high housing costs. When the average rent for a standard apartment easily devours 40% or even 50% of your take-home pay right off the top, the math completely breaks. How are you supposed to fit a month's worth of inflated grocery prices, a car payment, gas, and health insurance into what? Ever tiny fraction is left of that original 50%? You simply can't. When you force modern living expenses into an outdated 50/30/20 box, your needs instantly overflow and start eating into your wants and your savings. You end up feeling guilty for buying basics, and that 20% savings goal feels like a complete joke. Let's put some real numbers to this so you can see exactly why you might feel like you are failing even when you are trying your hardest. Let's say your take-home pay is 50,000 rupees a month. According to the traditional rule, your absolute limit for all your survival needs is 50%, which equals 25,000 rupees. But let's look at the real world. A modest rent payment could easily be 18,000 rupees. Now, add in 6,000 rupees for basic groceries and another 3,000 rupees for your basic utilities. We are already at 27,000 rupees. Before you have even paid for petrol to commute to work, health insurance, or a minimum EMI payment, your baseline survival costs have completely blown past that 25,000 rupee cap. You are already in the red, making you wonder how to possibly fix the math. So, the traditional math is broken, but that doesn't mean your finances have to be. Let me introduce you to your alternative framework. Let's look at this custom spreadsheet. Instead of suffocating your baseline survival needs with an impossible 50% cap, we are expanding your needs category to a realistic 70%. On a 50,000 rupee salary, that immediately gives you a much safer 35,000 rupee to cover your rent, groceries, and bills without feeling like a failure. Next, we aggressively prioritize your financial future by allocating 20%, which is 10,000 rupees directly to savings, investing, and debt payoff. That leaves a lean, intentional 10% or 5,000 rupees strictly for your wants and guilt-free spending. Watch what happens when we take that exact same struggling 50,000 rupee paycheck and run it through this modified system. As I plug in the rent, the utilities, and the groceries, you can see the numbers balancing out successfully in real time. The anxiety is gone, every rupee has a dedicated job, and you're finally back in total control of your money. As you can see, when we stop forcing old rules onto modern problems, the math actually works. Always remember, Mastering their money starts with a realistic plan, not an outdated rule. If this video helped you see your paycheck in a new light, hit the like button and subscribe for more real-world financial strategies. I will see you in the next one.